This is Generations of Victory, presented by Shields. Time tells a tale of our generations of victory. It's more than just a score, a game, or even a trophy. It lives in our spirit. It is the same as the Bison. Strong, powerful, legendary. Its majesty plays out in a single step and in the rumble heard across the land when we move as a piece of the whole whose wholeness gives it grace. Ours is a poem to the past, written in the losses and struggles that give rise to our success. It is who we have been, who we are, and who we will be. This is the story of our generations of victory.
Trey Lance takes the snap, takes the knee, it's all over! New head coach, new young players, no problem. National champions for the 8th time in 9 seasons. 16-0 for the first time in the history of the FCS. Back-to-back undefeated seasons with national championships for the first time ever. And Matt Entz is the first ever head coach in the history of Division I college football to finish his first season unbeaten with 16 wins. The final, North Dakota State 28, James Madison 20. Horns up, Duke's down. Make more room in that trophy case back home. We got another one coming back to Fargo.
The 2019 season culminated with the ultimate prize, another national championship for the North Dakota State University Bison football team. 16 national championships in all, 8 of them since the university jumped to Division I athletics in 2004. So how did they do it? For the answer, we must look to the past.
Legacy never lives on its own. It isn't born with just hope.
When I came in as a freshman, expectations were just playing fast as you could, as hard as you could.
It isn't a single step, but a journey of effort that echoes through the years.
I was told, never give up, never quit. The expectations are really high.
It's nurtured in grit, blooms in struggle.
And it really put me in my place to just learn and grow and develop through the culture of this program.
And makes a bond with history when possibility beats the clock and overrides the chorus of doubt to deliver a victory.
Showing your work through your play is a huge thing of mine, and what I think is really important, to hustle every play and finish.
But we know that isn't a given. And generations before knew that too.
The legacy the guys left behind was just, smash nose football, physical, aggressive, and not taking a step back or slowing down at all.
The pitch back on the outside. This is Mark Hansen, and this will be another Bison touchdown.
Three, two, one. Far across the plains of Fargo, there for all to see, stands an old abandoned outhouse called.
The success of the North Dakota State football program can be traced back to 1965, an undefeated season at 11-0, and the school's first national championship.
I have had the opportunity to meet a number of the seniors of the 65 team. There was 10 of them that were a critical part of, what I would say the start of this unbelievable run of tradition and success that NDSU has experienced. I know when Daryl Mudra took the job here, he brought in 90 freshmen his first year. And from talking to guys like Terry Hansen, who was the quarterback of the 65 national championship team, only 10 of them made it through their whole experience until a senior year. So those 10 guys, should go down in history as the original 10 or however you want to term them. But what a special group of guys that got this thing going.
Imagine a Bison team with no legacy, a team with few wins, little support, and lousy equipment. In the mid-1960s, Gary Showers and his teammates started with nothing. They would lay the foundation of what we now know as Bison pride.
It started when we came in with Daryl Mudrew in 1963. We didn't know it at the time, but now we know it. And to follow the Bison through all those years, it's special. The friends you've made, I'm sorry, the friends you've made, and it's hard to explain, but it's right here. We went to the Mineral Water Bowl one year, that was 64, I think, and Daryl Mudrew, we didn't have any money, so we stayed at Boys Town one night. And that was all part of the learning. We didn't know it at the time. We thought it was punishment, but it was really learning. And then next year, we had a chance to go to the Pecan Bowl in 65 after we were undefeated. And our captains voted not to go. They said, we don't want another one like last year. We had to ride a bus and said Boys Town. And it wasn't like that. We got to be on an airplane. We flew to Abilene, Texas, and we played Grambling College, which was something just never forget.
The culture of toughness grew through the following decades, from hard-nosed tackles to a bitter cold 1986 Harvest Bowl at Dakota Field in Fargo.
And on this wintry day, it gave way to the name Blizzard Bowl.
This Bison history and these Bison players are not forgotten. In fact, they are an important part of what is happening today and what will happen in the seasons to come.
Takes the snap, play action pass, throws it deep up the middle for Marcus Williams, and Williams intercepts it at the 11-yard line.
You know, the 2019 group wasn't the first group to work hard and to prepare and to be good teammates and all those things. They were just the next team in a long line of Bison that have been doing it for many years. And part of the reason we're able to is the fact that those guys did do it back in the 60s, in the 70s, 80s, the 90s. Some of those great teams that have come long beforehand have only made it easier for us to follow in their footsteps. So, you know, none of those guys have the 2019 National Championship ring, but we wouldn't have the 2019 National Championship ring if not for those people that came before us.
That's something that you kind of learn when you get here. You learn about all the championship teams back in the 60s and the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. And you know, once you understand that, you know that there's a culture and it's more than just playing for you and more than just playing for the team that you're on right now. There's been a tradition that's been here for a long time, and it just goes back to them, and you're playing for them, you're playing for the guys next to you and not just yourself. And so there's just a really good understanding eventually when you've been here for a while and you finally get that. It means a lot more to you once you figure that out.
But now we are tested. Now we find out just how tough we are.
I think it's the tradition and it's the Bison pride that it gets talked about a lot. Like you said, there's guys from the 60s here that won national championships in the 60s. There'll be people here from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. And it's just that tradition and the Bison pride and the family mentality that once you become a Bison, you're always a Bison. Once a Bison, always a Bison is a saying that feeds through, is still repeated really often in our locker room. And it's been a part of the Bison program since at least the 60s, if not earlier than that.
A turning point for the program came in 2004. After tremendous success in Division II, the school leadership decided it was time to move up to Division I. Then Athletic Director Gene Taylor supervised the daunting task.
One thing that I'm most proud of at NDSU, although there were several things, was just how well everybody handled the transition. And it was such a big decision, and there were so many challenges ahead of everybody, whether it was from our staff, our administrative staff, or coaching staff, but how we all came together as a group and worked together to make the transition as smooth as possible. And clearly getting into the conference was a big first step, but I really was proud of how everybody came together and worked together, even through some very difficult times to manage the transition.
The last 10 years are what some would call a decade of dominance.
Across the line of scrimmage, a blitz comes. Jensen throws a screen to McNorton across the middle, breaks a tackle at the 20, cuts it up to the middle at the 10, to the 5, and McNorton gallops in with a Bison touchdown.
But it all started with a tough loss in the playoffs in 2010.
I mean, it's a little shocking. You're up a touchdown, and then with about 2 minutes left, and you end up losing. I mean, you go from happy and ecstatic to a little down. I mean, a lot of my best friends were the seniors, so it makes me a little sad, I guess. And I mean, we're sad as a team that we can't keep playing, but I mean, they're a good ball club, and they just executed at the right time.
You can't take anything away from the effort of our coaches and the effort of our players. And I certainly want to say thank you to the seniors because they did a great job leading this year and made it one of my more memorable years as a coach.
That loss fueled a fire that led to a string of 8 national titles starting in 2011. A team led by quarterback Brock Jensen.
Jensen fades the fire, looks right, throws right side of the end zone. Holloway, touchdown, Bison! Warren Holloway caught it in the right corner of the end zone.
To know where we came from to the previous year and falling short, in Eastern Washington, and knowing how close we were at really accomplishing that goal at being, at the top of the mountain, really just motivated us, each and every one of us, coaches involved as well, into that next offseason. And, nothing was going to stop us in 2011 from doing that. And we just had to believe and just get it done week in, week out.
The last time a Bison team won 14 games in a season was your 1990 team, Phil, which ran the table 14-0 under Rocky Hagan.
The moment we did that and the clock struck 0 in 2011 versus Sam Houston.
It's over! A fairy tale finish to a magical season. The NDSU Bison are national champions.
Being on that stage and watching that confetti and feeling that confetti fall through your fingers, there's nothing that can replicate that feeling in life. Not one thing. It's unbelievable.
That victory started something special for the Bison. It was followed by 7 more national titles.
It's deja vu all over again, and the Bison love every second. North Dakota State national champions. The three-peat is complete. The Bison finish one of the most remarkable runs in FCS history, beating Towson in the championship game 35-7.
The Dakota dynasty lives on. 4 consecutive titles for the Bison of North Dakota State.
It's never been done before. The Bison football team wins its 5th consecutive FCS national championship.
And Easton Stick will run out the clock, and it hits zeros. And the Bison have done it. They have reclaimed their place atop the mountain with the national championship, 17-13 over James Madison.
Stick takes the snap, takes the knee, and there is no debate, no more discussion. Perfection for North Dakota State. The Bison win their 7th national championship in 8 seasons.
The 8th national championship for the North Dakota State Bison.
It's been incredible, and sometimes you lose sight of that you're living history right now. And I don't know if there'll ever be a program at any level in any sport that'll do what the football program at NDSU has done over the course of the last decade. But to have a small part in that, and to see the student athletes that have come through the program and have given so much, to see the coaches and the changeover and how much they've committed to the program and our fans and alumni. Sometimes you have to try to sit back as much as you can, and even when you're in it, to just enjoy it and just marvel at the unbelievable things that are happening here. And so that's where sometimes you got to take a step back and just pinch yourself and say, wow, this is pretty special.
Sure, a dominant decade at the FCS level, but the Bison have played some FBS schools along the way. People outside of North Dakota might think NDSU can't win on the road against bigger programs. Well, since 2010, NDSU has beaten all 6 FBS teams they've faced. Kansas,
North Dakota State with their first win ever over a Big 12 school.
Minnesota,
36 27-24 is the final. My, oh my.
Colorado State.
Being an FCS program, playing an FBS program, they have more scholarships, and we know that, but we also felt that we have a pretty good football team too. And we come in expecting to win when we play these type of games. You know, when we play the Kansas and the Minnesotas and Colorado States, we come in expecting to win.
Kansas State.
1 yard separates possible upset. Quarterback keeper leans in, touchdown, Gibson.
And the Bison, with 28 seconds remain, have taken the lead at K-State. My, oh my.
Iowa State.
North Dakota State makes it 25 in a row, setting an FCS record. They beat Iowa State, and really remarkable when they were down 14 to score 34 unanswered. Their offense and defense both stepped up.
And Iowa all fell to the Bison.
Kick is on its way, and it is good.
What a game by North Dakota State. I'll tell you what, I've never been more impressed by a team to play 4 quarters, punch for punch, with a team like Iowa to come into their house, Beth, and do what they did today. Remarkable effort, remarkable coaching job, great win for the program, and they continue to rear out these victories.
We are the legacy of a people that know faith and perseverance, practice, and patience always comes first. On this field stands only a part of what makes us whole. The spirit of the Bison belongs to more. It lives in those that live our journey with us, that feel loss as much as we do, that celebrate success with us, that know with us lives the call to continue what's great.
NDSU fans are very different. Sometimes I worry about them, man. Honestly, you know, they are crazy, and I throw myself right on in the mix now. You know, being done, you know, it's true, like a true pride, and that's why they call it Bison Pride.
Ask anyone involved in Bison football, and they will tell you the fans are part of the winning culture.
The support we get from all the North Dakota people is extraordinary. I mean, the way they travel to away games, even to the home games, the dome's always rocking, especially as a defensive guy. That helps a ton because third down rolls around, a defensive lineman wants to get off the ball, and that crowd's rocking. It helps out the defense a ton and gets the offense off track, and those fans are something special.
NDSU football represents the people of North Dakota so well. The people of North Dakota are hardworking, they're humble, they're blue collar, they'll give you the shirt off their back if you ask them for it, and just awesome people. And what I appreciate about this football program is that we have the same mentality, and I think that's where it resonates so much with fans, is we play the type of football the state of North Dakota would play if it had a football team.
They're smart, you know, they have great football IQ, and when we're on offense, they're quiet. When we're on defense, they're extremely loud, and they cause some chaos for the opponents.
Claps his hands together, takes the snap. He throws the ball right side, intercepted by Dempsey, and there's your ball game! My, oh my!
You know, they're extremely passionate, you know, for our fans to, you know, rally around us, whether it's, you know, any small functions, and they want to be around the team, the coaches, they want to be a part of it. And we want to be a part of it with them. We're doing this as a community, as a state, and we need their support. We need their support to be successful. So our fans, you know, continue to show up and you know, provide us with a game day atmosphere that is second to none. I would put our game day atmosphere and our support that we have up against anyone. And to know that we have that is real special for us.
NDSU fans are passionate. They're a great group of fans.
have high expectations, which I love. They expect to win championships, but whether you walk out the tunnel into the Fargo Dome and see 19,000 people screaming for the guys, or you go on the road and you look up when you run out and there's maybe 8,000, 9,000 at Eastern Washington. And obviously Frisco speaks for itself when they take over the whole city, but it's just so much fun to go on the road and see the passion in NDSU fans.
Those fans showed up in force for ESPN's Game Day in 2013 and 2014.
This is Game Day, and we're in Fargo, surrounded by rowdy college football fanatics. Welcome to a boomtown where the business is winning championships, building a dynasty. North Dakota State is the FCS unanimous #1, now pointing at a three-peat. And this is a scene that's got to be seen and heard to be believed. As loud and proud and crazy, as invested as any hotbed anywhere. College Game Day, for the first time, roams to the home of the mighty North Dakota State Bison.
One of those fans gathered at the corner of Broadway and 3rd was Ken Sampson.
Gotta say, wow, for a second straight year. Fargo representing, making a lot of fun for us.
In fact, you might consider him a Bison super fan. He's been going to games since 1976.
To me, it's the friendships I've gained over all these years, but it's pride of our state, our city, and the university, and I couldn't be more prouder of them, and they're my team.
Ken and his fellow fans have had a lot to cheer about, but there have been some bumps along the way. Sometimes success leads to opportunity, and opportunity leads to change. Coaching changes always create uncertainty, and may have given Bison opponents reason to hope in 2014. That's when Coach Craig Bohl, the man many credit with laying today's foundation, accepted a lucrative offer from Wyoming.
Once you feel like your work is completed, then it's time for you as a leader to step aside. One of the super things about the players at NDSU, they were hardworking, resourceful, modest guys. And but one of the challenges is to show them that they could play on a bigger stage, and nothing does that more than winning. And you know, I think one of the couple things that really made a difference was when we scheduled the University of Minnesota during our transition. Many of you fans remember the first game we lost 10-9, but that was a point where I think it was a breakthrough point where people began to believe. And then, of course, the next year we went over and really had great success. So that's a big part of that.
After Bohl's departure, defensive coordinator Chris Kleiman took over as head coach.
I think we're all very excited to introduce to you the gentleman sitting next to my right here, Chris Kleiman, as our next head football coach.
I just knew it was the right time and the right fit for me. It's change is always hard.
His success attracted the attention of Kansas State.
It's done. Chris Kleiman is going to be the 35th head football coach in Kansas State history.
Really what I'm most proud about being at NDSU is just the relationships with all the players, with the staff members, and over the 8 years I was there, just the bonds that were built, and to have these bonds that'll last a lifetime, not only because of the championships, but just because of how tight the relationships have been and will continue to be.
Once again, much to the frustration of Bison opponents, the next man up mentality worked in coaching as well. Defensive coordinator Matt Entz took over.
This program's much bigger than me, much bigger than any one coach, and it takes a village to get this thing going in the right direction.
All right, day one in the books. What did it feel like as head coach start fall camp?
It was, I think everyone was excited, including myself, of course.
Despite the changes in head coaches, the Bison continue to win. Those hoping to figure out why and how will find the answers in the locker room, in the heart of the Fargo Dome. Sometimes words are just words, but for the players who call this room their home, the words have true meaning. They are read, they are believed, and they are passed on from teammate to teammate.
Bison pride.
Bison pride.
Bison pride.
Bison pride.
Bison pride.
Bison pride.
a group of players that worry more about the success of their teammates than they do themselves. They put everyone else and everything else before their needs of their own.
A big part of Bison pride is the work ethic, passed on from one class to the next.
It's a hard hat mentality. You're dealing with guys that they want to line up and physically impose their will as long as they can before the last whistle blows so that you never forget them. And that's at O-line, that's at receiver, that's at defense, that's code green. This program is built around who can be the most physically tough people, whether it's in our program or on the field on game day. And I think that's the part that people really respect about the football here, is it is tough.
It's a mindset of no one will outwork us, no one will out-prepare us. We're gonna do everything we can to find an edge, to play with an edge. It's a 4th and 1 mentality every time we step on the field, every time we cross those lines. We will be the most physical team in the nation every single week.
The way we practice with double reps, all these different situations that you have no choice but to work hard, and that becomes the expectation. You know, that the older guys hold the incoming guys to, and it just kind of builds from there.
North Dakota State's a special place. The way that they put together the program, the way the program is still having success, whether it's the coaches and staff, the leadership on campus from President Brashani to Matt Larson has continued to move the program in a positive direction. But it's a special place, and one of the reasons it's special is the community itself. They get behind the Bison, they care about them a great deal, and it's just a unique environment to be a part of. And I was fortunate enough to be there for 13 years and loved every minute of it.
The culture and the work ethic, kind of taking nothing for granted. Even though you'd win a national championship, you're hungry once again every single year. And that mindset has really propelled me to the next level.
The success of NDSU can be seen in the number of players who have made it to the NFL. Easton Stick is one of several players currently under contract in the NFL. Most notably, maybe his former Bison teammate, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz.
Obviously still playing in the NFL. Saturdays are still very busy for us. We're traveling often and doing a bunch of things, but when I can, I still sit down and follow those guys, watch those games, still cheer them on, and I still feel as connected as I ever have been.
Ask any player, ask any coach, and they will tell you NDSU football has what one former player calls a secret weapon.
Coach Kramer, Coach Kramer, Coach Kramer,
Coach Kramer.
Coach Kramer, also known as the Bulldog.
Coach Jim Kramer arrived in Fargo in 2004. He is the Director of Athletic Performance and was promoted to Assistant Athletic Director in 2019.
Coach Kramer, he was recruiting objective number one is keeping him here. NDSU football and Bison Nation and Bison pride is different than everywhere else in the country. We're going to keep it that way.
You haven't been 233 yet, so on Monday you're going to be 233? Okay, you better be 233. Exactly, there you go. Get up.
He has been the heart and soul of this program for the majority of a decade now, and the guy behind the scenes. If you were to ask him to be in an interview, he'd be the first one to turn it down. He doesn't want to be out front, but the things that he does behind the scenes with our football team, the leadership, the education, the conveying of and passing on the tools necessary to be successful in our program start with him and end with him.
Hey, I may find you tomorrow afternoon, okay? Don't let up. You got a 3-day weekend, okay? So there should be some progress there come Monday. Guess what? I'll be right back here at the scales weighing you in. All right, don't lose progress.
The product he puts on the field, he transforms players. And he would never say that. He would just say, I'm just another guy doing my job, but he's different. And it makes a difference. And you can see it on the field. I can.
You learn a lot about Bison pride being with Coach Kramer. You learn, what it takes to be successful here. All the hard work that it takes to be successful at NDSU. If you're 1 inch away from the line, you're not successful. You got to get all the way to that line. You got to touch the line. And if you don't, those upperclassmen are going to hold you accountable, and Coach Kramer is going to hold you accountable.
Got to keep your arms above parallel. They drop below, you're done.
Coach Kramer is going to love the life out of you,
When you get to campus, it's absolutely, you kind of need to earn this respect. And you don't earn it until after probably your freshman fall camp. That first summer is tough. You're gonna be, you know, kind of put through the rookie treatment. He cares about you and he's gonna love you. And if there's ever an off the field problem, Coach Kramer's the guy I'm going to first because I know he's got my back, you know, no matter what. And that was true before I started playing. You know, first day I stepped on campus, that was one of the first things he said to us is he's gonna have our back through it all. Regardless of, you know, how bad we messed up, whatever we did, whatever we got going on in our lives, on or off the field. Coach Kramer's a guy that's always gonna have our back, but at the same time, he's gonna be the first guy to chew your butt when you do make a mistake.
Look a little tired, let's go. When I get them in there, I've got a limited amount of time. I don't want to waste their time. I want to be efficient with their time. But, you know, sometimes those relationships come out more so, I guess, after they're done playing and the player comes into your office. Just had it happen today. And the player comes into your office after the season and sits down and talks to you and talks about what he's doing now and what his aspirations and dreams are in the future. Those relationships probably enjoy them more afterwards. Actually, I can let down my guard a little bit, maybe.
He is probably the most special person to me over there. He helps you become a man and takes you under his wing, and he loves you, and it's tough love sometimes. It is. But he's the X factor over there, and people need to know that, and we got to be grateful to have Coach K because he's one of a kind.
We're grounded in the story of the Plains.
Patience is key. You know, we started this thing all the way back in August, and you know, those hot fall days where you're just grinding and grinding and grinding.
That's the definition of Bison football, I think. Just from the work that we do all winter and summer and into the season, I mean, that's just who the Bison are.
And now, just staying patient until your moment comes, and you know, we've been working all season up to this moment.
Where applause and accolades only matter if the moments before are born in teamwork, and the milestones that we focus on find themselves rooted in history and hard work.
And a lot of the guys on the team are from the Dakotas or have that farming background that just know that hard work is just what it takes to be successful.
Here, the title that matters in the story of our journey is plain and simple.
You know, we grind every single day, and we're tough on our bodies through the whole week and give ourselves tough looks, both physically and mentally, to really push ourselves.
It is the grind and the grit that write our legacy.
It's an incredible honor to be here, and we're happy to be playing for another national championship.
1, 2, 3, run! For a program with high expectations, the 2019 season had every chance to be unremarkable. It was anything but.
My first thing as a head football coach was to make sure our team knew that we were going to still be good, and we had the tools and we had the coaches and we had the talent in the room to be successful in 2019. Everyone thought it was a quote unquote rebuilding year, and that this was the year to beat the Bison, and they were going to have a lot of question marks, and some of them were me. Being the new head football coach and new staff, and you know, the quarterback position's become a big deal in NDSU. We've had unbelievable success and unbelievable leaders in that role over the course of the last 5-6 years, and we knew there was going to be a new face and a new name in that position, and I think people were up in arms about how good were we going to be because of a lack of experience at the quarterback position.
5 practices, where are you at with your quarterbacks right now?
I didn't say anything because I anticipated someone would ask. So all 3 of them have had excellent first 5 days. You see the leadership, you see the command of the huddle. You know, are there some decisions that are probably being made at some times that you'd like to take back, or do you chalk up to youthfulness? I don't think we're anywhere near ready to make a decision on the 3, but I like what they all possess.
What pressure do you have on your shoulders? What did you take out of spring ball to get you ready for fall camp?
I don't really worry about the pressure, really. I don't think any of us do, because we're just focused on getting better every day. As a unit, I think that's the most important thing. As an offense, helping the young guys get better. but it's a lot more fun knowing what's going on this year for sure.
The quarterback competition was outstanding, and we have a number of excellent candidates in that room. And as we've gone through spring ball and then the first about 15 days of fall camp, we've come to the realization that Trey Lance will be our starter going into game 1.
Yeah, it was crazy, really the experience just from the spring on, through the fall, through, being named the starter, through the entire season. Mentality definitely changed from spring ball to fall camp, through summer workouts and everything. But just was blessed with a super great group of guys to work with, to compete with. Zeb and Noah, the other 2 quarterbacks that I was competing with for the job. Just the way they handled themselves, the first thing they said, I clearly remember the day being named the starter. The first thing they said was, we got your back. No matter what happens, through injuries, whatever is going to happen throughout the year. Good games, bad games, good practices, bad practices, and that held true throughout the whole year. They were probably my biggest support system, so I'm just super thankful for them and all they did for me.
The football season began on a baseball field. NDSU took on Butler at Target Field in Minneapolis.
Oh yeah, it was a different experience being on the baseball field. Big crowd, a whole bunch of Bison Nation just showing out and supporting. It was one of those games that you always remember. No matter how far along you go in life, you're always going to remember that time.
Freshman quarterback Trey Lance dazzled the crowd of 35,000, throwing 4 touchdowns and running for 2 more. The final score was 57-10. The convincing win was also the first sign that this season would not be the rebuilding year as some predicted.
One of our key phrases here is, next man up mentality, and I think every single person on the team embraced that, and just knew that if Easton's leaving, Trey's gonna fill his shoes. If he has to do what he did last year, he's gonna do even greater things, and I just think every single person on the team really embraced that.
The wins would continue to pile up. The Bison would go on to beat North Dakota.
Right to left. They fake the jet sweep. The Seas part. Lance. Schroeder, baby. Touchdown.
Delaware, UC Davis, and Illinois State.
20, 10, he's in there. Touchdown.
Northern Iowa and Missouri State came next. By then, it was clear those preseason doubts were behind them.
I thought the 2019 season was very comparable to the 2014 season for a couple reasons. One, both of those, the years before, you lost 24 seniors exactly. You had a new head coach and new starting quarterback, and those are some pretty tough things to overcome. But when you look at the character of the group coming back, just tremendous character, tremendous leaders, another still really good senior class. This past year's senior class was not a bad group by any stretch. We had a lot of big-time playmakers in that group and a lot of good leaders that really took it upon themselves to say, guys, we're not going to allow this thing to slip just because we have a new quarterback or some new players or younger faces or new coaches in the room. So I really appreciate those guys, and especially as a new coach, them coming in and saying, you know what, I know it's a new linebacker coach, but we're going to buy in not only to myself, but more importantly to Coach Entz and everybody as a whole.
We were a young group. We have 60 redshirt freshmen and freshmen on the football team. And when you hear that number, you kind of get mesmerized at how could you still continue to be good. And a lot of it goes back to our senior class. The 14 seniors we had were outstanding young men and did a great job of leading this team.
Ask the players, and the majority will probably tell you that taking on rival South Dakota State was one of their favorite games of the regular season.
Let's go, Bison Nation. It's time. It's time. We out here. Let's go. Let's go. Ah! Let's go.
Here is the give. Brooks has room up the middle. There goes Ty. Skips the tackle. The 30, the 20, the 10. Run in there, baby. Touchdown. The shotgun takes the snap. Zone read. He will keep it himself. And the true freshman will trot into the end zone off the left edge for a touchdown.
Man, SDSU was always a fun game to play, but it was even sweeter when Adam was able to break that run. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life.
Here we go. Lukey, the fullback. Cofield dots the I. 4th and inches. Babich in motion left to right. Lance under center. They're going to hand it to Cofield. First down in a big hole.
Cofield is breaking free down the sideline. Adam Cofield's going to take it the distance. 71 yards, touchdown.
Oh, what a gutsy call by Coach Ince to go for it deep in his own territory, and it turns out to be gold.
They definitely played really well. We played really well. And that moment when we saw Cofield spring free, I mean, we watched it on film probably 50 times, just watching everybody, the O-line running down the field.
Just because how emotional that game was, how competitive, and it's just something that I'll never forget.
Before we pray, how about those Bison? 1, 2, 3. Bison!
The Bison rounded out their undefeated regular season by beating Youngstown State.
You're not going to catch him. House call. Throw, has a pocket, taking a shot. He's got Watson. Deep ball, caught. 20, 10. Shot in there, baby.
Western Illinois.
Here comes pressure. There he goes. He's sacked. Spencer Wagee throws, picked off by Hayes. Near sideline. 3 tight ends. I formation. Hand up. Cofield dives in there. Touchdown.
South Dakota.
He's running through defenders. Spins. He dives in. He's in there. Touchdown. Adam Cofield. Simmons pumps again. Tony Pierce says hello. Sack.
And Southern Illinois.
He steps up. He's taking a shot. He's looking for Lenore. Hendricks is right there. Picked off. To the 20. Lance in the open. 10, 5. Shot in there, baby. Touchdown. Trey Lance.
Just, you talked about setting a undefeated regular season as a goal. Just talking about being able to accomplish.
Well, I didn't set that as a goal. The players did.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, we never really talked about it until this week, of course. We just talked about being 1-0 every week, and our players bought into that. And I challenged them on game 1 to be so great that they can't ignore you. Did I know we'd go 12-0? No, but I know in the locker room we thought we could be good, and they continue to get better and better every week.
Today, the North Dakota State University Bison are hosting the Nichols Colonels in an NCAA FCS second round matchup.
Takes a snap, bubble spring out, flat, caught, Kapurus gets a block. There goes Jimmy, 30, 25, 20. Shot in there, baby. Snap, quarterback run, Lance up the middle, lowers the shoulder, still pushing.
Trey Lance threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for another as the Bison pulled away in the second half to beat Nichols State 37-13 in the second round of the FCS playoffs.
Everyone in the playoffs now is what? They wouldn't be here if they weren't good, were they? We have to be better. Continue to hold ourselves to the highest standard.
37 big ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
1,400 miles away from College Game Day, we welcome you to Fargo, North Dakota. We're outside, it feels like -21, but that has not stopped the Bison faithful from coming out and packing the Fargo Dome today.
Next, the Bison had to get by a stingy Illinois State defense. It was the lowest scoring game of the year. However, it was still a victory as the Bison defense rose to the occasion, holding the Redbirds to a single field goal in a 9-3 victory.
No timeouts remain for Illinois State. Trips to the right side, Haley wide left. Robinson to the left of Jefferson in the gun. 3-man rush. Here it comes, rolling to the right. Jefferson hit by Wagee as he throws. Incomplete! Code Green holds. Semifinals, here we come.
Unbelievable job. Unbelievable job. To win a game 9-3, hey, we're going to win. We're going to win. We do what we need to do to win games.
9 big ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah!
Hey, we all know it, fellas. Last time we stepped on this field together, guys. Leave your legacy today. Let's get it done. Let's go. Let's go.
And finally, one game away from another chance to play for a national championship. NDSU hosted Montana State in in the FCS semifinal.
North Dakota State will head to their 8th national championship, which ties the most of any program in FCS college football history.
The Bison beat the Bobcats by a final score of 42-14.
Hey guys, when I meet with recruits, I tell them this is why you come to NDSU, to compete for championships.
42 big ones!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
You know, when you look at what this team was able to accomplish, arguably one of the most successful college football seasons in college football history, to go 16-0, the way in which this team won, to win another national championship, and then you look at all the stories that go into this season with a new head coach, 60% of the changeover in the coaching staff, a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, a lot of new names, but all came together with the same goal in mind, and ended up being able to accomplish something that has been accomplished in over 100 years, going 16-0. And it was nice to see, too, for this program, a lot of times over the course of the number of years where NDSU has had this success in the last 10 years, some of the individual accolades haven't been celebrated as much on a national scale. And to see that happen this year with Trey Lance winning 2 national awards, with Coach Entz being honored as well, I think those are some things that have separated this team apart from some of the ones in the past as well.
We heard the words and wisdom through the years and across the generations. Legacy does not guarantee victory. Victory does not promise legacy. We weather storms and dance in the wonder of winter when others take cover. We are the spirit of the bison, the lore that lives beyond the scores. We fight in the flurries, and we delight in the fight.
North Dakota State has won 36 games in a row. I don't care what league, what division, that is as impressive as it gets.
And then getting to see that we were underdogs in the game, I think was even bigger for us.
The expectation here is to win a national championship.
And being the underdogs, I think, really helped us out, honestly, in those 3 weeks leading up to the game.
This Bison program here in Frisco, trying to make it 8 of 9 national championships, and clearly a very long winning streak on the line.
Following 60 minutes of football, we'll have our answer. Who's the best team in the country as the boot meets the ball? And we are underway.
It is never forgetting we are made of something stronger than stats.
Here's the give. Cofield up the gut. That's in there. He's Superman into the end zone. Touchdown.
One of my favorite plays was obviously the fake reverse to Phoenix.
Fake reverse was kind of something we've always had drawn up, but we never actually ran it in the games.
Tricked him. Touchdown. Offensive coordinator Tyler Roll pressing a good button on that one.
In our pride lives the humility to know nothing is certain.
Plenty of time. Cofield couldn't make the catch, and the Dukes get a stop on 3rd down. They'll send in the field goal unit here, and they fake it. They keep it. Surprise! Touchdown Bison! Hendricks on the sprint.
First-year head coach Matt Entz pulling out all the stops.
We wanted to force people to defend every snap and defend the field. We thought the play was built to get us a first down. Not necessarily 30 yards, but it goes back to energy and execution. If you have those 2 things, you have a chance to be really successful.
This isn't just a game for us.
Lance will throw on 3rd and 23. Steps up. He will run.
We are not simply a team on the field and the sidelines.
20, 15, 10, 5. Try in there, baby. He scores.
We are a state whose strength shows and whose determination is never deterred.
8 seconds to go. Seeking atonement. DiNucci in the end zone.
Intercepted by Jimmy Football! It's all over!
The 8th national championship for the North Dakota State Bison.
We asked you and told you what perfection looks and feels and sounds like. Well, you're looking at it right now.
We've heard the sound of victory before. And on this day, we heard it again.
Our guys continue to play, had a chip on their shoulder all year long. We got an unbelievable staff. It's hard to be national champs and hard to win that many games in a row. And it's all good players.
We talk about it all the time with Bison pride. You know, we play for the guys before us and the guys that are going to come after us. So I was going to prepare, you know, and do everything I possibly could to be prepared as I could to not let those guys down.
I just remembered all the great players I have around me. You know, they do their job. Coaches put me in great positions to be successful. And we just try to do it for all the Bison Nation out here that came out to Frisco. Shout out to those guys, and then obviously all the guys that came before us.
This was supposed to be a rebuilding year. These kids said, "There's no way. They're going to keep winning." That's what we do.
As we've learned from generations of the past, our defining moments may yet lie ahead.
Probably the hardest question I'll ask you, how do you improve upon this season?
Watch. Just watch. We got to find a way.
That fired me up. I clearly remember it. I've watched the interview a few times. I can't lie.
Obviously, everyone thought this was a rebuilding year. I mean, just watch what we're going to do these next couple seasons when we're not rebuilding anymore.
We're already at that point where we can maintain and even progress our culture forward. Coach Entz has done a really good job of trying to push us into that uncomfortable spot where we can't be comfortable with where we are and we're keep moving things forward.
Just for Coach Entz to believe in us as a young group of guys and that we can go up and truly believe that we can continue to get better and create separation between us and the rest of the country.
I mean, he's got a whole lot more things in store for the future of the Bison.
Hey, to our young guys, thanks for buying in, believing in the new coach, new head football coach. You know, I'm still not sure I got this thing down yet, but I'm working on it. You're pretty good, I'm working on it.
The path forward is never certain and comes with new challenges. But in this moment, we lift up our legacy as it lives on for another generation.
We got tradition here. We got the fans backing us up. We got just everybody that we're playing for, our brothers that played in the past, and we got all that, and we're going to keep doing this. And if you can't stop us, then that's your own problem, I guess.
Generations of Victory is presented by Shields.